certified to do that. Anyway, there's a lot. But I wanted to go over these different astrology related systems and what they are, and some of the things I do, and maybe some of you guys do some of these too. But let's go ahead and start. Of course, there's Western astrology. I am a Western astrologer, and I always say I'm an intuitive Western astrologer, which is sort of like saying I'm a psychic astrologer a little bit, but just Western astrologer. Western astrology is based on zodiac signs, birth charts, and the planetary positions. So in Western astrology, we have a circle, a wheel. It looks like a pie. You think of a pizza pie, and it's divided into 12 slices. And that's what we base Western astrology on. And that's based in the Greco-Roman origin or culture. That's how that got started. Now there's Vedic astrology, and that's really, I guess, because there's so many millions of Indian people who have studied astrology forever. There's a lot of Vedic astrology on the internet, and I always tell people, make sure when you're talking about astrology, especially if you're in America, that you're talking about Western astrology and not Hindu astrology or Vedic astrology. And Vedic astrology is the Hindu system using okay, let me say it again. Nakshatras and dashas. Okay, I got it right? Nakshatras and dashas, and it's based in the Indian culture. Then there's Chinese astrology, and that's one that I use in my business. In fact, one of my things that I have astronumeral in is based on the mixture of Western and Chinese astrology and numerology, as well as alignments, adding alignments to that. But Chinese astrology is really a lot different than Western astrology or Vedic astrology. It assigns mystical meanings to numbers. Basically, it's more than just, say, a zodiac sign, but there's mystical meanings to numbers that are based in these Chinese astrology, and the origin is Chinese. Numerology is one of the things that I love to talk about. It's divination. It uses 78 symbolic cards, if you're using cards, but basically it's the numbers, and it's based in Western Chaldean culture. Okay. Tarot readings, that's gotten really popular over the last few years. You'll always hear there was a point where they were all over YouTube. It's really died down a little, but it's amazing how many people got into tarot. I mean, I would almost say that almost everyone has a tarot deck in their house. But tarot is unique in that it can use crystals and stones for energy balancing and healing. And it is based on a European medieval occult culture. Crystal healing is next, and that's really big right now. I mean, I've got crystals with me right now, like I always have my selenite wand to clear the air. And crystal healing is a divining personality and future. It's about divining, so it could be about personality, future, through palm lines, all different types of things like that. And this is based in Indian, Chinese, and Western cultures. Palmistry or chiromancy, I hope I'm saying that right, is interpreting a person's energy field or aura, basically with the palmistry, and that is based in a New Age culture. And then there is aura readings, and aura readings is divination using Norse rune symbols. Now, I don't think of my aura readings as my rune readings. I don't know who did this. I guess they are connected, but runes in no way has anything to do with aura readings. But that's the way they've got it here, because you can use runes. I mean, I love using runes and I Ching and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily, not so much with aura readings here. but this is all based in Norse Viking culture. Then there's pendulum, and somewhere over here, yeah, I've got a pendulum right here. So then there's the pendulums, and there's pendulum dowsing, and this uses a suspended pendulum to answer your questions yes or no. Yes or no. And this is Western esoteric, and it helps you to figure out the questions or answers to something. Sometimes we need to get the answers to things, right? And a pendulum helps us to do that. But isn't this pretty? They're usually very beautiful, these pendulums. Anyway, I thought I would share that. And pendulum dowsing, it's Western and esoteric. Then there's angel cards and oracle cards, and you often see me do angel oracle readings and stuff like that. It's intuitive divination cards. It's less structured than tarot. It's a lot easier to read, and it's basically the modern spiritual culture. Then there's astrocartography. And astrocartography is a geographic astrology showing how planetary lines affect your life. And I'll give you an example about that. I knew when I moved to Seattle, I had actually thought about moving to Seattle long before I moved to Seattle, based on the knowledge that Seattle would be my Venus zone. It's also my Pluto zone, but I wanted to go somewhere that was a Venus zone, only because I felt like I was ugly, and I was over 500 pounds, and I didn't have much self-worth, and so we moved here to my Venus zone. After living here for 15 years, I've literally lost 370 pounds. And as you can see, you see me on the internet. So I believe in astrocartography. You can find a lot. I mean, if you can deal with certain zones, you can move to certain zones and build your life around that. A Venus zone is very pleasant. This is also a Pluto zone, which is not so pleasant, but I think it balanced itself out. Um, I have Venus in Scorpio, so I'm used to the horror of Venus in Scorpio, so it didn't scare me so much. But yeah, that's astrocartography. There are certain lines that you can move to that change your life. Now, there's horary astrology as well, and this answers specific questions. So you can ask us a question about the time. Like, let's say, when would be a good time for me to get married, or something like that. That's more horary. Or you could say, what would be a good time to do this launch, or something like that. And that's horary astrology based on the time. We use the time of the question. And both astrocartography and horary astrology are Western astrology. Electional astrology it picks the best time to start events. This is really specific, like the best time to start events like marriages or to travel. Some people are very specific. They really want to know everything. So electional astrology is there because people want those specific dates, and so it helps you to pick that. And this is actually a combination of Western and Vedic, because they also do a lot of like, what's the best time to marry, what's the best time to have a child, what's the best time to open your business, and that's basically electional astrology. Then there's medical astrology, which links health and diseases to astrological charts. And, this is actually Greek and Vedic, but also Western astrology, because we all connect certain body parts or connect them to certain signs. For instance, now this is a really weird story, but I am a double Capricorn with Aquarius in the first house, completely intercepted in the first house, and Saturn in Aquarius. Aquarius in astrology rules the knees and the legs. Excuse me, Capricorn rules the knees. Aquarius rules the legs. Okay, so my first house had issues with legs and knees. I'm sorry, my heater popped on and now I'm sweating. but it'll cool down. But legs and knees, right? So what happened to me back in 2007? I fell. I slid. Got out of my shower, slid across the bathroom. I dislocated both knees. I was told I was never going to walk ever again. And in fact, I was in a wheelchair for 7 years because I did not have enough strength in my legs to walk. And I kind of knew prior to anything happening that something could happen to my knees because I had read up on it as a double Capricorn with Saturn in the first house. But I never in a million years that day thought, oh, one leg's going to go one direction, the other direction. And I was a big 300-pound woman. It was devastating. I might have been a little bit over. I might have been like 350 or so, but that's one of the reasons I got up to 500 pounds was that I was not able to, exercise, to move around, to walk like I had used to do or whatever. I became basically bedridden. And so medical astrology really already had pointed that out. Crazy. Past life astrology. That explores past life incarnations and karmic patterns. And a lot of people are really into past life incarnations. That's more New Age and Vedic in culture, but a lot of people are into the past life astrology readings. And my mother used to be really good at doing past life regressions. And I mean, we just amazing at doing that with, especially with children. That is a gift. If you're into that, that's something I love that kind of energy and would love to talk with anyone who does that. Dream interpretation. Dream interpretation is analyzing dreams for spiritual and subconscious messages. And I do play around with dream interpretations. I have not said that I mastered it, like Joseph in the Bible or anything, but I've had moments when I've been really, really good at interpreting dreams. And this is kind of global and Jungian in culture, or Jungian in culture, but yeah, dream interpretation, it's something that's really been popular. Anyway, I wanted to share that because I feel like when I'm talking about I'm an astrologer, I'm not always sure that people know what I'm talking about. Like, what kind of astrology? What do you mean? There's so much astrology, right? And you might be thinking one thing and I'm thinking another thing. I could tell you for the most part, most of these forms of astrology, I'm knowledgeable in and can help you with, which is amazing. I never realized, I've built up a little repertoire here as an astrologer. And so I do know these things. I know enough to be dangerous in all of them, I guess. And so it's interesting. If you're into any of these things, let me know. If you want to specify which type of astrology system you would like to work with me with, let me know that as well. Okay. So that I